So how are things in the Gaerea camp? I mean, like post-COVID, touring, writing, all that shit.
Things have been escalating slowly but steady for us. Fortunately, we're now on a small festival tour, glowing with a few club shows. So yeah, we released the album in September last year, Mirage. We toured Europe, we toured the US for the first time, and fortunately we have all these amazing summer festivals to play at, which we're very happy and very eager to do so. And well, everything has been chaotic in good terms. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. But I think we're up for the task. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, you mentioned Mirage. I mean, in my humble opinion, it's very, very close to a definite masterpiece. But what is the next step for Gaerea? Are you planning to top it, or are you currently more focused on touring?
We're very focused on touring. There's plans for a new release, which I can't and would rather not disclose too much about it now, but there will be a new album at some point. There's inspiration starting to flow as we come back from shows and stay 2 or 3 days at home. There's some stuff happening. So yeah, but for now we're focusing mainly on touring as much as we can, something that we couldn't do during the pandemic with the Limbo album. So we're taking every good opportunity that we can to be out there and showing everything we got, and growing this this creature of a band to a point where there's no return or something like that. I think it's something that we missed a lot when we were in closure at home, and I'm very, very happy that we're able to being on tour for the last 2 years, constantly with a lot of shows, a lot of good shows, very interesting packages, and we're just preparing for the next one all the time.
Yeah, so you mentioned you've been very fortunate to with your how you progressed as a band and how you've been exposed, and I mean you're quickly becoming very, very, very popular. But I mean, 7 years down the line, how would you say that your music has progressed? Do you mean like maybe even sonically? Did you evolve your sound, or have you been set on a certain sound from the start?
Well, I would say, looking back now, I think we're still picking up the pieces from Mirage and evaluating it as we go, because everything changes when you're starting to play the songs live. The songs change even when you're playing them for so long. But I think every album sounds very different. We started with an EP that is being re-released now in July, where you don't know yet what the fuck you're doing. Then you find a bit of orientation in the first album. Everything sounds more cohesive, but I think we truly found our own way to tell a story and way to write music, that I think it's truly ours and our own way to do it. With the last 2 records, mostly Mirage, I think it's we're a band that doesn't try to be the fastest band in the world or the most extreme band in the world, but we want to be one of the most honest bands out there with what we feel, what we have to portray as human beings, as our own inspirations. And I think that's what truly is carrying whatever we do to a certain level, or to all these great opportunities. For example, playing Copenhell, which is a dream come true. It's something that I never thought we would be able to do when we were starting out. When just writing those first riffs at home, never thought we could do such a thing. Playing Copenhell, doing a US tour, playing for thousands of people in festivals like this. So yeah, it's interesting to see, and I think all of these experiences will change us as people and as artists, and that also the music blends and changes every time we step into the studio or just grab the guitar and the drums to create new music. All these experiences shape us in a different manner.
Definitely, very very interesting take on it. Yeah. But yeah, you've been touring a lot, obviously. But yeah, you've also been to Denmark quite a few times. Most recently, supporting Carlsberg.
Yes.
How do you like it in Denmark? How is it like the general reception of your music in Denmark?
Some of the best fucking crowds we had. I remember last time in Denmark, I think the first time we played in Denmark was with Numenorian on our first proper European tour before the pandemic. We did Aalborg and Copenhagen. Then we came back very recently with Galsworth, as you said, and it was a big jump in crowd, and the deliverance from the crowd is just wild. I think I can't explain why, but I think the Danish crowd, at least for our show, is very. It just embraces it to a certain extent that we really love, and I mean we always played venues where we could just have the people right in front of our faces, which are, in my opinion, the most intense shows. So I'm really looking forward to this show. It will be different. But we have something special for the people in this show, and I'm really curious to see what kind of audience that will be there, if there's some familiar faces, and if we can grow to another level in Denmark with this show. That's why we're here.
Nice. Yeah, I think I speak for a lot of Danes when I ask you this. How would you describe the Portuguese metal scene? Because it, at least in my knowledge, to my knowledge, it's not really something that's known throughout Europe or the world. Is there a specific genre, or is it just there?
I think Portugal is one of the most interesting and creative countries out there. There's so many bands, there's so many creative people. And all of a sudden, every now and then, there's bands that pop out like us that can do something unique, like Sinistro or the Ominous Circle, and of course I'm not mentioning the kings of our music, Moonspell, but everything just follows whatever crumbles and paths they went through. And I think they're very good friends of ours, and it's a band that we get inspiration a lot, not in music of course, but from their experiences, from whatever stories they have to tell us.
You mean Moonspell?
Moonspell.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a country that doesn't export much music or a lot of music because of our social economics, our ethics as creators, and people just hide too much on the idea that we have to cross 2 countries or 3 countries to get into Europe, or at least to Germany, that has borders with almost everybody. Everything is very difficult, but it's not. It's just a life choice. I think as a German band or a band from the Netherlands or something like that, it's easier for you to just hop on a van and go tour. For us, it was very hard. I mean, you just spend like 500 euros and then you just get to Germany in gas or something like that, or tolls or whatever the fuck that is. But I think if you really want to do it as a band from whatever, Greece, Rome, or Portugal, or whatever, you got to be very sure that there's shitty times ahead. There's a lot of storms coming, and but you need to stand your ground and embrace it, because if you do believe in what you're doing, people will enjoy it, and you can come back in a bigger term. Next time, probably on a tour bus. Next time, you're flying to a festival. It was never easy for us, never easy. So everything every little thing that we achieve, like playing Hellfest for the first time, playing Copenhell for the first time, playing Wacken for the first time. It's something that we don't let it blur our vision, because it's just another step of all the things that we would love to do. But it's something that we take a little proud on. It's something that we battled. We faced a lot of shit and a lot of difficulties playing in small venues. We're still playing some small venues, even on this run. But we're going to these small venues, and the places are packed. Playing Serbia for the first time, playing Croatia for the first time on this run. It's something that you're playing small clubs, but there will be people that never saw you, people that probably never bought some merch from you because shipping costs are expensive, or it's countries that don't have a lot of money. So it's just amazing for a band like us that we're strived so much to do all these things, to finally go to some place like this, or even Croatia in a small club, and see people that know our music, know the lyrics, know the riffs, have the album, come to us for us to sign a few records. It's something that we take some pride on. I think we deserve it. We worked for it.
Definitely. You mentioned Moonspell yourself. Would you take? I mean, your music is very unique, in my opinion, as well. And would you take that you have some inspiration from Moonspell? Or would you say that you draw your inspiration from more the original black metal sound, or is there anything? Not just to name drop anything, but would you take Moonspell as one of your inspirations?
Career-wise, yeah, not music. I love their music, but it's far from what we do. I do love some of the choices that they did in their career, I think, and I do believe that there's a lot for us to learn with artists that can do this for 30 years. Like, we just did a show with Behemoth for the first time. We met them and we saw how amazing those people are, and you can really notice how can a band like that remain for 30 years. Or playing with Watain, we just did it in Mexico. It's this core of very hard-working, passionate people for what they do, that it will get them through all the fucking storms they have in their own way. And Moonspell are exactly like that. We don't take inspiration on their music. It's something, I think we're playing different games here. But I do love to sit down with them and just listen and see all the fucking shit they had to go through on their first tour, or whatever tour. One of the first tours with Typo Negative back in the day, and they're on this shitty van, not eating, road cruising with maps in 94 or something like that, whenever I was born. It's just amazing. It's all these things that we take for granted these days. Just put your fucking address on your phone, you just go there. And now you just call somebody and you're always in contact with the promoter. Back then you would call on a Friday, okay, I'll be there on Monday, wait for me on that specific place. You don't do that anymore. So it's all these things that we like to, whenever we can, and to just sit down and listen from the people that have been doing this for such a long time. And music-wise, of course, I mentioned it many times, Watain is probably one of my favorite bands. Our music doesn't sound similar, in my opinion, but what I truly take inspiration from is the artistic liberation these bands have. The way they can just play very fast music, but also play a ballad, for example, and be one of the most beautiful pieces of music you ever heard. I think it's all these things that bands like us that are starting to rise a bit more should listen from the classic bands, or the bands that are from the previous generation that have been doing this for 20, 25, 30 years. It's important to know how they got there and listen to their stories and understand that this massive production that Behemoth have now, they had to fucking struggle to get there. So it's all the things that I would wish for us in many years. But for now, we need to know that we play Copenhell with a 6-people crew. We do the best we can. Next time, in 3-4 years, we can come with a bigger production, with better ideas, bigger production, and just grow steady, slowly but steady. I do believe on those two ideals of growth. Shouldn't be too fast and shouldn't be too clumsy. Should be with a proper plan.
Very, very interesting. For someone unfamiliar with your band, how would you describe your sound? I mean, it is, in my opinion, quite unique. What's the best way to describe it?
I don't know. I would use some keywords like dramatic, intense, explosive, but also very minimalistic. Yeah, I think it's. We have very minimalistic moments that truly transcend into another dimension, at least for us as artists. It's not the fast blast beats that get you to that certain mood, but it's those minimal moments of the set, of the music, that truly throw you into the abyss and makes you wonder about everything around you. That's what we write about. Writing about humans, how much we hate to love them and how much we love to hate them at the same time. So yeah, those should be probably the keywords.
It sounds about right, in my opinion. So this is the final question. I mean, this is the first time I'll be watching you guys live. I'm looking very much forward to it, but what can we expect of the show? You already touched some of it, something special coming up, but what
expect 5 people giving it all on stage. Doesn't matter if it's a small stage for 100 people in Croatia or Serbia. Doesn't matter if it's a bit more in Copenhell. We always give it all to the moment that we can't breathe. That's how we like to present ourselves. Not comfortable, because I think heavy music and extreme metal shouldn't be comfortable to the audience or to the artist. And we create our own boundaries, our own difficulties for a purpose, to be able to overcome them. And so yeah, expect a very intense, explosive show, but with a lot of, at least for us, beautiful moments.
That's perfect, man. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.